Happy New Year. CardlinAudio is ready to start off 2016 right by thanking all 3,500 of you and everyone else too for being here. Every 500 subscribers, I answer some questions submitted by all of you as a way to kind of reach out to my beloved community and reveal a bit more about myself. Before we begin, I want to say, if you've submitted a question and I didn't answer it, it's probably because I've answered it before, or the question is maybe just a bit much. Also, I add script ideas to the list, so if you submitted one of those, then it probably won't get mentioned here. As always, you can ask me a question of your own or submit a script or script idea using the links in the description below. Now then, without further ado, let's jump right into these questions. I've got about 50 or so of them, so I'll try and go quick. Saitama asks, do you still know how to speak the Filipino language? To be fair, I never really spoke it that well to begin with, but I can still hold about 70% of a conversation entirely in Tagalog. Just don't ask me to go writing any essays or anything. Anissa asks, what's your type? My type? If I had to choose just one, I'd say she was shy-ish, online a lot, willing to laugh at a corny joke or two, and nerdy in her own way. Anonymous asks, where do you get many of your script ideas? Are they based in real life? Some of my scripts, like You're Everything I Dreamed You Would Be and I'm Falling For You So We Need to Break Up, are written from things that happened to me, and some are inspired from things I see or hear elsewhere. Some are requests, and some are ones submitted from listeners like yourself. Sophia asks, describe your GF. Okay, let's see, she's fun, she's caring, she's diligent, she's achingly beautiful, she compliments me perfectly, but most importantly, she likes me even when I'm not Cardlin, and I'm just boring old me. Mehreen asks, when you record your erotic audios, do you imagine the whole scene, get yourself in that situation, or do you just do it? I just do it, I suppose. Reading a script is acting to me, and so I put myself in the perspective of the person and the words and let that just kind of flow. I turn off the parts of my brain that tell me I sound or look ridiculous recording these words and just, dive into the performance. Colleen asks, what's the youngest age you would accept for a significant other? They say the formula is half your age plus 7, so 23? I mean, that still seems kinda young. Nearly a decade away. I mean, it's not too far off. I suppose I'd say 25. I feel like at 25 you've busted through enough of your teens to get a decent idea of what life is like, and maybe you're beginning to look for something more long-term and serious. Before 25, you should really focus more on figuring out who you are. Crystal asks, what do you look for in a girl? A personality that she wears proudly, a decent sense of modesty, and the ability to let herself be into things without constantly apologizing for herself. Squidge asks, can you say, hey, baby, for us in your sexiest, dreamiest voice ever? Alright, sorry, it's kinda late. Let's give this a shot. Hey, baby. Is that okay? Let's see, Lils asks, have you ever played Magic the Gathering? If so, are you a fan? I used to play back in middle school for a bit, but not anymore. I think the game's fun, but I'm not a big fan of games where you can get better by pumping more money into it. I know that's not all of it, but that's part of it, and that kind of immediately turns me off. Let's see, LL Lauren asks, if you were an ice cream flavor, which one would you be and why? I'd say mango, because it's Filipino, and as for why, because I come off as kinda exotic and new, but once you get used to me, you realize I'm just another variation of a normal guy. Anonymous asks, so what's your favorite part about doing the erotic ASMR recordings? Honestly, I mean, the scripts are fun, the stories are nice, but my favorite part about it is knowing that I'm helping someone out there, have a moment of escape. Jessica asks, what's your favorite type of audio to record? I really like the internal monologue audios, though I try not to do them too often so as not to, overuse the gimmick, so to speak. They're just fun to do, so kinetic and natural, and I really enjoy writing them for those exact reasons. Anonymous asks, how do you do the echo noise in your audios? It sounds really effective. Oh, thank you. Let's see, it took me a while to figure out, but once I did, I was embarrassed at how easy it was. There's an effect in Audacity called reverb. That's it. Anonymous asks, how would you deal with bullying in the workplace, or in general, really? I'm not one to let something like bullying fester and grow. I like to get ahead of it. I try to talk to the person one-on-one, see if I can reach the person behind the exterior, and just talk to them. Kind of figure out what their problem with me is. If that doesn't work out, or they don't want to play ball, I'll push back. Call them out on their stuff in front of others. If the problem persists, I tell a superior. Honestly, bullying should never, ever happen. But if it does, it's your responsibility to do something about it. The sooner the better. You can wait for them to be a better person and stop, but chances are you'll probably be waiting for a very long time. Neko-chan asks, you believe in love at first sight? There was a time in my life when I would say yes to this, and I think that's because I didn't really understand love quite like I do now. Now, I'm no master on the topic, of course, but I realized that love and infatuation aren't the same thing. Infatuation is fun. It's light. It's all light-hearted sighs and dreamy stares. But love? Love is... and I'm sorry, baby, but... love is suffocating. It's terrifying. It's panic-inducing. And once you're in it, you don't ever, ever, ever want back out. Because it's just that good. Anonymous asks, do you have a P.O. box for fan mail? I don't. I never thought I'd need one. Do I need one? Dolores Rose asks, which Cinderella version do you like? I'm really only familiar with the original Disney version, to be honest, so I guess it'd have to be that one. I mean, who doesn't love Gus Gus, right? Tabitha asks, do you have a sweet tooth? Not really, no. It's more like a nacho tooth. Tabitha again asks, have you ever visited Italy? No, but I wouldn't mind going there someday. I hear it's beautiful. Sierra Patrick asks, I was wondering, have you ever heard of fursuiting? If so, what do you think of it? I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I think it's wearing a fursuit, kind of like a costume, and it's usually associated with the quote-unquote furry lifestyle. Now, I myself am not into it, and I'd imagine it's really hot and uncomfortable in there, but I can certainly appreciate the desire to live a life under a different persona. Wink wink. Fursona? Is that the term? Fursona? Let's see, Kathy asked, if you could wake up tomorrow in the body of someone else, who would you pick and why? Let's see, assuming I get their life and whatnot as well, I'd probably choose a billionaire, and I'd try to make as many changes for the positive that I could. Help people, all that jazz. If I just got their body for a day or so, then, I don't know, maybe a beautiful woman so I could see what that's all about. Walk around, get ogled and catcalled, get a better appreciation for what that's like and what women have to go through. Kathy asks again, what is your best childhood memory, Cardi? Let's see. Yeah, I was a bit of a late bloomer. And for the first few years of my life, I didn't speak much, if at all. One time, we had a huge family reunion, and for the whole weekend, my house was bursting at the seams with family members. I spent the whole time with my cousins, and I loved it. I started talking around them, and I just haven't stopped since. China asks, who have you told, if anyone, in your private life that you do these audios? Let's see, my cousins know, for better or worse. I told a few of my friends, and some of my other friends found out. I try not to talk about it too much, as I'm afraid one of them might tell the wrong person, or worse, tell you all some stuff about me. I try and draw the line between my personal life and my life here pretty clearly. China asks again, what is your favorite lazy day activity or rainy day activity or both? Let's see. I love gaming and watching reruns of favorite shows. I run with 2 monitors, so one will usually have a game on it and the other will have a video and a browser open. Honestly, that sounds heavenly. Darian Parr asks, so who does your covers and drawings? Each of them are different. I commission various artists I've found, either from Fiverr or Tumblr. I usually tell them the basic idea I'm going for, send them a reference pic or 2, and then just have them go with it. It hasn't failed me once yet. Anonymous asks, there's this guy that tells everyone he doesn't like me, but when we went to the museum the other day, he would not stop showering me in compliments and wrapping his arm around my waist. I honestly have no idea what his intentions are. I'm struggling to trust him and I don't know what to do. Any tips or suggestions? It sounds like he's playing games. I'd call him on it. Talk to him, ask him what he's planning, what he wants from you. Tell him it bothers you that he treats you differently around different people and that you want him to explain himself. Don't be afraid to dislike him if he doesn't give you an answer you can live with. And be sure to hold him to his word if he says he'll change. Anonymous asks, have you listened to Melanie Martinez's new song, Gingerbread Man? What are your thoughts on it? So I just listened to it now before I started recording this, and I looked at the lyrics and oof, this song hits me hard. I've dated girls like this in the past. These fun but dangerous girls who seek thrills and reject affection. They're usually deeply damaged and wear it on their sleeves, but refuse to be fixed, wanting someone who will ignore their obvious wounds and just use them up. These girls don't want to be held, they want to be smashed. They don't want to be cherished, they want to be absolved. It's dangerous. I tried to be that for them in the past, and it's just not for me. I don't have it in me. I can't stand being that mean for too long. Still, for those who can make it work, more power to you. I don't know where you're headed, but it'll be a fun ride most of the time. Chrissy asks, what are your thoughts on open relationships? Not for me. I'm big on monogamy, loyalty, dedication, and I expect that of my partner as well. Still, those who do live their lives like that, do you, boo-boo? If you can make it work without anyone getting hurt, at least no more hurt than anyone in any relationship would, then do it to it, and don't worry about what others think. Jazzy J 1901 asks, if you were stuck on an island and could only bring 5 items, what would you bring and why? Let's see, probably a satellite phone, a helicopter, a boat, Superman, and a teleportation gun. I do not like being stuck on islands. If I had to play by the rules though, I'd say, flint and tinder, a sleeping bag, a tent, a machete, and a solar-powered Kindle containing every book in existence. Yoli? Yoli? Yeah, Yoli. Yoli asks, what is the one major thing you want to accomplish in 2016? Let's see, I want to finish the year with my name credited as a voice actor on at least one published product. Also, maybe 10k subscribers? That'd be nice. Yoli asks again, what are some things that inspire you? Stories of success, promises of reward, the thought of being able to go to sleep with a blank to-do list, a good song lyric, or a particularly devastating line or phrase, a funny moment, an anecdote, anything really. Inspiration can come in many forms, I've found, and not a single one of them is predictable. Anonymous asks, do you think because you have a girlfriend, that could affect the viewer's experience slightly? I thought about this early on and even talked to her about it. At first, we agreed it was best not to mention her so as not to quote-unquote break the illusion. But as I started to reveal more of myself and the messages I'd received became more and more forward, I decided it was best to make it known that I was taken. I didn't want to go on lying, and more importantly, I didn't want to go on disrespecting her. Sunshine asks, how do I bring my partner How do I bring up to my partner that I listen to erotic audios and that I want to try some of the things in them? Just tell them it's like porn for the mind, and bring up that some people get turned on by things they can see, while others get turned on by things they can feel or imagine. Tell them how happy it would make you, and how it would make you more willing to do things they're into in return. Just make sure you return the favor. Karen Sophie asks, what's your biggest dream? To live a life wherein I fully sustain myself and my family in a comfortable way by doing something I love that also helps people in the process. Like if I could make a living off of doing these audios, for instance, that'd be the dream. Anonymous asks, do you look like the animations from your videos? Kinda, sorta, maybe? Anonymous asks, this might be a slightly unusual submission, but I thought since you seem to know a lot about relationships and being intimate in relationships that you could provide some insight. Let's see, I'm getting married soon, and I was wondering if you had any advice for me and my husband to be for our wedding night. We're both virgins, and I guess I'm just wondering if you could give any advice to help it be less awkward. Like with most problems in relationships, I'd say talk to him about it beforehand. Remember that you're each other's best friend, and that you're both new to this. Forgive mistakes and laugh them off. Make it fun, don't make it tense. There's no winner or loser, there are no points, no one's keeping score. Just have fun with one another. And maybe watch a video or read a guide or two beforehand so you know what goes where. When in doubt, insert tab A into slot B. Marley asks, what's your favorite aspect of Scott Pilgrim? In other words, why have you taken such a liking to it? Rip away the chic, nerdy shell, and you're left with the story of a boy trying to become a man and make himself worthy of a girl who he, rightly at first, thinks himself unworthy of. I can relate. The story is unflinchingly real sometimes, for all the silliness of it, and it shows that though it'll never be perfect, because nothing is, a happy ending is possible if you're willing to work for it. Sophia asks, chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla ice cream, and what are your favorite ice cream toppings? This might be a bit of a disappointment to you, Sophia, but vanilla, no toppings. Boring, I know, but I dig the texture of ice cream in its purest form, and vanilla is so perfect by itself. Kimberly asks, what's the best advice anyone has ever given you, and why is that so significant? A good friend of mine changed my life when he told me, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. It taught me that life isn't going to give you what you want. You need to go out and earn it. You need to speak up, you need to take chances, you need to realize what you're actually worth. Then you gotta go get it. It's priceless wisdom, and I haven't been the same since. Michaela asks, would you like your firstborn to be a boy or a girl? Is there a specific reason for your answer? A boy, I suppose? I don't know, I find that more and more in this new generation that genders and sexuality are fluid, so it doesn't really matter. I just want a little half-me cloneling I can chill, teach, and hang out with. Barbara asks, first, if you could speak any foreign language in the world besides English and Filipino, which one would you choose? Probably Mandarin, because it would help with my job and because it's so widely spoken. Barbara also asks, what is the name of the background music in your 3K subscribers Q&A video? It's a track my professional musician friend did, though he asked me to let him remain anonymous for now. I'll be sure to give credit where credit is due once he gives me the green light. Arwa asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how seriously do you take yourself? Also, why does Snoop Dogg carry an umbrella? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say 2 for too serious, and he carries an umbrella faux drizzle, my nizzle. Anonymous asks, would you describe the people who listen to these types of audios as sad? Some of them, sure. While they're not necessarily my target audience, I've made it clear in the past that the whole reason I do this is to help people who need it. There's this whole ocean of people who feel unloved, unwanted, and uncared for, and just plain useless. Whether or not they actually are is both subjective and irrelevant. They feel that way. It's in their hearts. Having been there, I know how much I wish I had someone to say sweet, reassuring things, both as a respite from my own life and to inspire me to go and find it, or make it even, in my own life. So are they sad? Maybe, but then again, who isn't sad inside? Who couldn't use some more love in their life? Anonymous asks, would you take this test and share your results? It's a 16 personalities test, also known as the Myers-Briggs test. I did this before, actually, and I got the console, ESFJ. Make of that what you will, I suppose. I agree with parts of it. I'm studying for a life or death exam, says Anonymous. A word of encouragement? Sure, it's not life or death, no matter how much it might seem like it. Study, but don't kill yourself. Life goes on after college. Anonymous asks, are we doomed to be alone for the rest of our lives? No. Pat Can asks, random question, when and where would you travel to if you've been given access to a time machine? The future. I'd find some winning lottery numbers, come back to the present, and make my and my family's and friends' lives awesome. Kathleen asks, what decade are you? 20s, 30s, etc. I'm not really sure what you're asking, Kathleen. If you're asking when I was born, it was in the 80s. If you're asking if I feel like anachronistic, like I belong in a different age, I definitely do not. I love now, the present, bleeding edge of technology and whatnot. Life's great. Chanel asks, what made you want to do boyfriend or role plays, specifically or mostly? I guess learning that I'm not too bad at them and that people seem to like them. Anonymous asks, do you have any favorite channels that do similar recordings to you? Jiggy Wiggy ASMR is a good friend of mine and he does great work. Jack over at the Grey Knight, or Grey Knight Erotica on Tumblr, is amazingly talented. Definitely check him out. Anonymous asks, what's your biggest pet peeve? On a larger scale, watching people I love let themselves live in pain when they don't have to. On a smaller scale, when my wireless headset just randomly dies out on me. Come on, Logitech. What the fuck? Let's see, Anonymous asks, currently it's 1:47 a.m. I'm bored out of my mind and insomnia is kicking my ass. Any tricks to help me sleep? Sorry, I probably should have responded to this immediately. In general, though, I'd say make sure you've turned everything off and you keep your eyes closed. If that doesn't work, try a site like asoftmurmur.com and some comfy headphones. Again, the site is asoftmurmur.com. Really helps. Anonymous asks, if you were to create a radio show, what sort of people or team would you work with? Would it matter how they knew about you? I guess it would depend on the type of radio show. If it was a podcast about a specific topic, then I'd want someone I was comfortable with, who I could talk freely around. If it was a radio play, then it'd have to be a good cast with a good script. As for whether or not it would matter how they knew about me, no, not really. Angelic Warrior asks, do you guys like it a lot when a girl says I'm yours, or anything like that? I mean, I can't speak for all guys, but I know I do. Anonymous asks, Cardlin, would you consider yourself to be a feminist? Oof. First off, yes, but I mean, geez, is there a more volatile word nowadays? Like, how is it that words like feminism, Christianity, and gender can evoke so many hurt emotions and get so many of us ready to fight? I mean, yes, I think everyone should be treated equally regardless of whatever, which is to say, so long as they aren't hurting anyone, leave everyone alone and let them live their lives. Anonymous asks, what's your favorite song from Steven Universe or Adventure Time? For Steven Universe, it'd have to be I'm Just a Comet. For Adventure Time, it'd have to be When I Don't Remember You. For such silly cartoons, Those two songs can draw up some really raw emotion. Zora asks, "Hi Cardlin, I was just wondering, when are the poetry audios coming up? Thanks. Love you." Soon. Simple as that. Savannah asks, "I was wondering what your favorite word is and why. Making me choose a favorite word is just the meanest thing. I love words. I guess I'll base it off of context, as in what word makes me the happiest to say and hear. Currently it is, love." Arina Altinbekova, hope I said that right, asked, "Would you recommend some Tagalog pickup lines or romantic words for me? I've always been a fan of mahal kita, walang iba, ikaw lang sa puso ko." And what I just said, I hope I did this right, was "I love you, no one else. You're the only one in my heart." As for pickup lines, I don't know, good luck, sorry, I don't really use them. Infinite-ish asked the last question, which is, why are we here, and where do we go, and how come it's so hard? Those are some tough questions, and to be honest, I don't really know the answers. I'll tell you one thing though, it's always better when we're together. And that about closes up the question and answer portion anyway. Move on to announcements. Let's see. I've gotten a lot of suggestions for what I can call you, all of you, my listeners, my community, and I recently heard a name I really like, so what do you think about being my cardigans? Does that work for everyone? Cardigans. Keep me warm, I wear you close, and you can be buttoned up or you can hang open. Okay, maybe that last bit doesn't work, but still. Cardigans, right? Cardigans. Can that be a thing? Let's make that a thing. Let's see. I've received a lot of great poetry as of late, and I'll be reading them soon. Sit tight. Also, I'll be trying my hand at a Let's Play of Undertale soon. Something I've been wanting to try for a long time now, so wish me luck. And speaking of audios, I've been getting a lot of requests and suggestions lately, and I want to remind you all that the best way to get the exact audio you want done, and soon, is to support me on Patreon. I do custom audios there that can be, personalized just for you, however you want it, and you'll be helping me get one step closer to realizing my dream, so it's a win-win. Speaking of, I want to send out a big thanks to my first Patreon supporters for helping me take these first few steps towards a future of doing this full-time for everyone. So to Barbara, Raina, Andrea, Jasmine, Jesse, all of you, I just want to send out a huge thank you for your continued support. Speaking of, I'm not sure of what to take pictures of on my Instagram, as I'm relatively new to it. If you lot have any suggestions, please let me know. As we wind down here, I want to send a thank you out to all of you for continuing to be here and helping me start this new year out strong. I recently wrote a little something about my year in review, and I honestly got a little teary-eyed when I started writing about YouTube and how all of this is turning out. I never thought I could turn such a silly hobby into something so huge that helps people and actually, in a little way, aids to make lives better. And this is all so new, so exciting, and so fast. So thank you all for your continued support, for listening, and the kind words and the inspiration. In closing, let me say that 2015 has been an amazing ride, thanks in part to each and every one of you. May 2016 bring us all closer to our dreams, and may we be brave enough to take the first few steps towards getting there. Happy New Year, everyone, and thanks for listening. Cheers.